welcome to 𝗥𝗵𝗲 show. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for always showing up because 80% is showing up. And I just want to set the tone of the show for new people who are tuning in. And you're probably wondering, what is the show about? Well, the show is about Ria, my co-host. She talks about real estate and I talk about mindset. So together, her and I, we bridge the gap as to where you can excel in your life, because life is all about learning, and we are always constant as entrepreneurs. So just wanted to set the tone, but welcome. My name is 𝗥𝗵𝗲.
My name is Ria,
and welcome
to
to our show. All right, so today I'm going to be talking about, so I'm going to be leading the conversation today, and I'm going to be talking about perspective. I want to talk about perspective because our perspective is what we hold in life, and it truly matters. Your perspective matters as to the environment. Your environment matters as to, who, where you are in your work, or where you are in your business or in your relationships, because, you are the person who is in control of your life. So your environment is going to be the topmost. And you know what? When I look back as to like in my environment, when I look back, my environment was not the best that I could have chosen, because your environment plays a huge factor, and why your perspective and your environment matters. Because so point number one is environment, which is your first and foremost, and number two is when we talk about your mindset. Now, I've often talked about your mindset in many of the programs that we have done. And why your mindset? Because your perspective, again, relates to your mindset. So your perspective in the sense of your outlook, like do you have like a negative or a positive outlook? Okay, what is it that you are facing right now? So all of these perspectives, your perspective is your environment, your perspective is what you are doing in your job, your perspective in your job is the task that you are asked to do. What is your perspective on that? Do you see it joyfully? Do you take on the task joyfully? You tell your supervisor, I really want to do, I want to challenge, and you want to challenge yourself. And because you want to challenge yourself, you are in that joyous mode. You have the perspective. You are now, so number three is your perspective. You have an open mind. You don't have a fixed mind, because a fixed mind, the fixed mind's perspective will be, is going to be negative. So you might ask, okay, well, why would that be negative? Well, think about, if you have a fixed mind, means you don't want to learn, means you don't want to accept where you are currently in your work, in your job, it doesn't matter where it is. But if you have a fixed mind, you don't have the channel to growth. And an open mind, this leads to growth, because now you accept what others are telling you, because people give us information, and whether we like it or not, but listen. And this is what I've gotten to learn, is that you got to listen. you don't have to agree with one another. You don't have to agree with that person. But as long as you know that you are receptive, you have an open mind, so that no matter what is channeled to you, the people's experiences, what people say to you, you take it on. You don't have to agree. We don't have to agree with anyone, but as long as we are open in that moment to say, yeah, okay, you know what, show me. Yeah, okay, tell me. So our perspective, this is an important conversation that I did want to talk about today, because you know what, I've been seeing this theme that has been occurring. And when I look back, you know, back in my life, my perspective, what was my perspective? Well, my perspective was not great, because, you know, number one, it was the environment, the people that I had around me, you know, people around you. So I'm going to challenge you. So what I want to, I'm just going to stop it right there, because what I do want to set with you, which is important, I want to challenge you, that I want you to make a note of your environment. I want you to take stock of what's your perspective? How do you envision? How do you see things? Because we all are guilty at some point, right? And we all do things, and it may not be conducive to us in that moment. So I want to challenge you, I want you to take stock on what is your perspective? How do you see things? When you go about your daily, I want you to see, okay, what is your perspective on this? What is your perspective on what he or she said? And just take it in with an open mind. So that's what I just want to share with you, because, you know, perspectives is everything, and it truly does matter. Ria, you want to chime in?
Yes, I could relate to the open mind, Alka, that you just shared. I understand now that I need to be a student for life. Just because I finished graduating from my medical, career, just because I've learned about real estate and I'm doing real estate, I'm a student of life forever, whether it be real estate, whether it be legal aspect of the business, whether it be an accounting aspect of the business. I need to be a student of life forever. And that's where then I think, if I'm a student of life forever and I want to know about apartments, where do I immerse myself? What environment do I need to be surrounded with? Who will be my friends? Are they also learning about apartments, or are they learning something else? It is now where I find my tribe, right, to learn more about apartments, because I do apartments. So having the openness, the open-mindedness of being a student and willing to take in, absorb, new things, because I learned that there's two constants in life. One is death, and two is change. So information will change, new things will come up, there's going to be new innovations that's going to come up. So we cannot just be a stickler. We cannot be just fixated on what we learned, because there's always been newer things that would help us, better our lives.
Absolutely. And it comes down to you got to pivot. Like I said, you can't be a stickler. You can't stick to doing that same thing. You can't stick to whatever the case may be, but you got to be more adaptable. You got to be amiable to accept change. And I'll share with you, when you just mentioned change, it's technology. Now, technology, for most people, it may not be your best friend, but you have to learn technology. Like, I'm getting used to some aspects of technology, there's still more to learn. But Ria, like you said, and I like that, you got to be you're always a constant student of learning, because if you're not learning, you're disintegrating, and you don't want to do that. Right. As entrepreneurs, we don't do that. As entrepreneurs, we're always looking for different avenues, different ways. You know, how can I do this better? How can I become better? How can, you know, etc., etc. So, you know, be willing to have an open mind. Ria's a good student. I'm a good student. And, you know, we're always still evolving. Not to say that we are perfect, but if we are willing to always take that chance on us, because you matter, I matter, Ria matters, we matter. And if we matter, then you know what that means? That means that we have to change and be more adaptable to things, situations, and that means to have an open mind. You can only do so. You can only be more adaptable, more amiable in situations or in your work if you have an open mind. And this is what I started with, your perspective. What is your perspective on situations? Is it open or is it fixed? So there you go. You choose, but I want you to have an open mind.